welcome to Save the Nova Nation.
Your inside pass to Villanova Athletics. By the nation, for the nation. My name is Pat Ralph.
And I'm Alexandra Hernandez.
So Alexandra, the Villanova Wildcats are going to the Final Four. How crazy is that?
I know, I'm so excited. It's hard to believe, but we had two great games this past week and weekend, and I just can't wait to get to Houston.
Yeah, we beat Miami in a great blowout. It was 23 we beat them by. Yeah,
92, like something.
69, yeah. And then we beat Kansas in a tough game. We probably didn't play our best, but we found a way to win against the top seed in the whole tournament, and now we find ourselves 2 wins away from our second national championship in school history. That is awesome.
I know, it's crazy. I was in the bookstore today. I got my jersey for
always
Saturday.
Repping Alexandra Hernandez.
I'm always repping.
Hype
Don't you worry.
Hype it.
And so many people were in the bookstore buying things. People on tours were buying things. So it's really awesome for our university to go all this far.
Final Four paranoia has taken over the Nova Nation. See, I can't even speak at this point now. We can't even speak because we're so excited. But everyone's just so excited. I don't know how people are going to do schoolwork this week, even go to class, just because everyone's thinking about Saturday night, 6 o'clock in Houston, Texas, when the Cats take on the Oklahoma Sooners, which should be a great game.
It is going to be a great game. I'm excited.
Yeah, Buddy Hield's one of the best players in college basketball. Oklahoma did blow us out when we played them early in the year by about 20, but the Cats are looking much better. And hey,
it's our chance.
If we can beat Kansas and we can play well against these other teams, we can give Oklahoma a run too. Certainly.
I agree.
One of the big things in our athletic department is the role that spirituality plays, especially for our men's and women's basketball teams. Each has a team chaplain, and we're going to talk to both of them later in the program. We first speak to Father Rob Hagan, the chaplain for the men's basketball team, as well as the chaplain of the women's basketball team, Father Mickey. We'll also talk to Dr. Ed Hastings, who was a professor here at Villanova and used to play college basketball here at Villanova. He also happened to be a chaplain of the Villanova women's basketball team back in the day. Let's go to the segment right now and find out more about what role spirituality plays in our athletics department.
My name is Dr. Ed Hastings. I graduated from here in 1973. I presently teach. I'm an assistant professor in theology and spirituality. So I played here again in 1971, and 1971 is a pretty significant year in Villanova men's basketball. We went to the national championship. We lost. I was sixth man on that team. I was starting some games and probably moving to starting, and I tore my ACL, probably the 7th game of the year. That was really tough. When you're injured, you can be. They tried to include me, my teammates did, but there's something about being hurt and not being able to play and not being able to practice that you don't really feel a part of the team. That was really hard. That was a real struggle for me. It taught me a lot of things. I remember asking a lot of questions like, why me? Why does it have to happen to me? But I made it through, and I rehabbed and got ready to play my junior year and senior year, and I did play, so that was great. We try to reflect on negative moments in the class and try to look and see we can learn some good things about ourselves and how we respond to difficult situations. What I like to do is I like to extrapolate from sports and say, okay, now what can that teach you about life? When life doesn't go your way, and I'm not talking, it could be not losing a basketball game or whatever sport, but it could be losing in a job interview or getting fired. And so how do you respond to that? And that can say a lot, that can teach us a lot about it. Not that you want to go through it, but for all of us it's going to happen. So what do we do? How do we respond to life situations? And I was a chaplain here. I was a chaplain with the women's basketball team. The role of the chaplain is really, I think, a very supportive one. I know Father Rob and Father Mickey, and they do great jobs for the men and women's team.
My name's Father Rob Hagan. I'm an associate athletics director here at Villanova, and I do a lot of administration, but I work closely with men's basketball and our football teams.
Father Mickey Genovese, Augustinian, obviously, and I work with the ladies basketball team.
Our student athletes here are extremely high functioning. They're very overscheduled. They're in, heavy with their academics, and then the practice and the time and the travel. They have so many responsibilities and so many people kind of in their life, many of whom are kind of telling them what to do. and giving them instruction and giving them assignments and structuring their day. And so I think as chaplains, we have an opportunity to not do that and just maybe just listen, to be a person who doesn't have an agenda in terms of their performance or what we're asking them to do, and give them an opportunity to maybe just talk about what's going on in their life and what they're concerned about.
The whole object for me has been for the student athlete. That's what we're here. Encourage them, to be there for them. I go to all the practices just about to be there for them. And the more they see, the more they feel at home. Presence, you find out in pastoral work, that's a big deal. Whatever you do in life, present to somebody is something that's very big. And I find that with the ladies, they're wonderful people to work with. They really are. And if you know enough of the athletes, you know they spend a lot of time and energy, and we try to support them. And that's what we're here to do.
I hope that we inspire them. They inspire us all the time, our student athletes, how hard they work, the time that they put in, their resiliency. They get up when they're down. One of the mantras that the team themselves says is attitude. And they'll say that to themselves in the huddle or out on the court when something goes wrong, when they're being tested or they're challenged or it's a hostile environment or the crowd's against them. And coach will say that to them, and they'll say that amongst themselves, attitude. Or they'll say, next play. Maybe you missed a shot, maybe you committed a foul, next play. And we can tie that back to the spiritual, that it is about, kind of not getting stuck in the past and finding forgiveness and the ability to move on past our mistakes. And so there is a great connection between what they're trying to do on the court and what we're all trying to live as fellow, human beings and sons and daughters of God.
Welcome back. So, Alexandra, that was a really cool story, hearing about the chaplains and the role they play with our student athletes, especially on the men's and women's basketball teams, and find out more what they do for our student athletes and the role that spirituality plays.
Yeah, that was a really good story, especially for me, because a lot of my friends don't go to Catholic schools, so they don't know why there's a priest on our bench. But it's really special that he's there to not just hype up the team, to play a great game, but also spiritually. You see him praying before, and he's always on the bench cheering them on, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, Father Rob's actually a really close friend of mine. He lived on my floor freshman year in Delory. We became good friends then, and we're still really close now. And I know, talking to him recently, he's so excited to get to Houston with the team. And he told me a little bit about what it's like being a chaplain and what his job is. And he kind of puts it like, the players are always working on their mental toughness, their physical toughness. They are always working on that with their game. But his job is to help them work on their spirituality, really flex those spiritual muscles and help work on those so that spirituality can play an important role in their sports. And really, when you have spirituality like that, when you have someone like Father Rob who's bringing it into the culture every day, you're going to have a winning culture like we have here at Villanova that's going to the Final Four,
I definitely agree. And speaking of winning culture, the women's swimming and diving team actually just took home the Big East title in their swimming and diving competition in February. And we got to sit down with Mackenzie Niness, who is on the swimming team, who got to talk to us about her journey to the Big East meet and her experience with her teammates.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Niness. I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts, and I swim butterfly on the swimming and diving team. I was 8 years old when I started swimming. I did every sport under the sun, but swimming kept me active, and it filled up a lot of time that I needed. And I started competitively swimming when I was 12 after just doing a lot of lessons. And now I committed freshman year of high school to only swimming, and that's what got me to college swimming. I swim butterfly, so that's my favorite. I feel most powerful when I'm doing it, and that's where I excel. I would say the hardest part of swimming is getting up in the morning. You might get used to it, but it never gets any better. But once you're up, you get to push through the day. The hard practices aren't so bad when you have your teammates by your side. Back in season, when we were doing 20 hours, I woke up at 5:50 every morning, most mornings. I would go to weights. Then I would go to practice and swim. That would end at about 8 o'clock. Go to breakfast, have some class, come back at 1, do another 2.5-hour session, and I do homework. It's really just a lot of pool, school, but we get through it as a team. Values that swimming has instilled in me, it's really hard to break them. You have a lot of time management. You know what you're doing. You know getting up at 6 is always worth it. I have a lot of goals in and out of the pool. Our goals as a team are pool, community, and classroom. And we do well in the pool, and I think keeping those goals as my own are very important. And it's what motivates me to get up early every morning and do the best that I can. Well, we started in August, training 20 hours for the meet in February. So that was a long time of just a lot of hard practices. But with our team, it's easy. We make it fun. We enjoy hard work, and we know what we're doing, what we're competing for. Weights, dryland, running more than it seemed like the track team some days. We really enjoy it though. We made it to February. We got to taper. That's a swimmer's favorite thing. We made it to Big East Week. Then we got to go and show people what we're made of and show them that what all our practice and all that hard work, what it actually meant and what it did for us. Well, we've been pretty dominant as of late, so we have to set some higher goals. We're the first team to get over 1,000 points at Big East. We won 14 out of 16 events at Big East. So now we have to find something else to do better. We're bringing in some divers next year, which will help with points. We're gonna try to win those next 2 events. We may be losing some seniors, but I think that our freshmen coming in and those of us who are still in play, we're gonna do better than we did this year.
Congrats again to the women's swimming and diving team for bringing home the Big East title in February. And that was a great interview with Mackenzie to let us know what the swimming and diving team is all about.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see the women's swimming and diving program because they've actually been really successful, but nobody knows that.
I know.
If you go in the pavilion pool, underneath the pavilion, you'll see the banner they have up of all their Big East championships, and it's really impressive. You know, it's a program that has done really well. No one's really talked about, but it's great to see another sport getting some attention in this season of winning with the basketball team.
I know, I agree.
It's great to see someone else getting some attention and some love right now. Kind of like, remember when we talked about volleyball in the fall?
Yeah, with them going for the Big East and everything, and we got to talk about them, which was awesome.
Yeah, and it was nice, with football and everything else that was going on in the fall. It was nice to see another sport that was doing well getting some attention. And, hopefully maybe swimming and diving will get that attention too. Now, one of our favorite segments, as you know, is Jon's Time. Last week, Jon decided to be a bracketologist and decided to complain about what he didn't like about the tournament. This week, Jon continues with college basketball, and in this week, we actually sent him out of the studio to get to know some of what Villanova fans are feeling about the Final Four. It's good to get him out, kind of branch out, get him out of here, and he gets to know some of the people. He got to talk to some of the Wildcats and see what people are thinking about the Final Four. Are they going to Houston, or are they staying here on campus and watching the game? We're going to see that later in the program. But before we get to that, let's go to the games of the week.
I'm John Wiener, and welcome to Jon Time. Today, we're going to be asking people questions in the field. All right, would you rather see Villanova win the national championship or get free tuition?
National championship.
All right, what would you give to see Villanova win the national championship?
To be honest with you, I would die completely happy if Villanova wins the national championship. It's one of my dreams to see Villanova win it all. And I think I just give a lot of effort to go.
So who do you think's going to win the Syracuse-Oregon game?
I gotta say, Johnny, I think it's gonna be Oregon. They've been shooting high percentages, and they got this one.
All right, thanks.
Hey, no problem.
All right, what would you guys rather see? Villanova win the national championship or free tuition? Raise your hand for championship.
really want to go to Houston. I don't know if I have it still up in the air. My family's planning on going. Oh, I also already bought my ticket, so it's a couple flights away. Do anything to see Villanova win it all. Love Villanova basketball.
All right, what would you give up to see Nova win the national championship?
Ooh, that's a good question. I could give up Jack, honestly.
Is Jack your boyfriend?
Yes.
Hi.
Tell me what you would give up to see Villanova basketball win the championship.
Like a million candy bars.
That's a good one.
Pretty much anything.
Okay.
A month of school.
I'd agree with that.
Wait, so you'd give up a month of school?
I'd give up a month of school.
So like you wouldn't go to school for a month? Yeah. That's like a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah.
Okay. Who's your favorite player?
It's really tough, but I have to go to Josh Hart. He's our best offensive rebounder. He's everywhere on the court. I tell him that when I see him. Josh, you have an affinity for the ball. You know that, right? He says, well, I'm just trying my hardest, doing everything I can to be the best player I can be. But he has the strongest work ethic on that team.
What would you give up to see Villanova win the national championship?
What would I give up? My pinky finger, I think. I would give up a lot. I'm so excited. I'm going to Houston, so I hope they win.
Are?
Yes, I didn't tell you. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Girls, what would you give up?
Take the mic. Take the mic.
My left arm. What would you give up? I don't know. I have to think.
My right arm.
My right foot.
Oh my God.
Great. Would you rather Villanova wins the national championship or free tuition at Villanova?
I'd say national championship for sure.
Yeah, I'd definitely say national championship.
Free tuition, but I'd still flip like cars and everything like that after we won, so even out, you know.
Great answers. All right, who would you rather date, John Wiener or Ryan Arcidiacono?
Oh, man. Archie. Sorry, John.
All right, guys, who would you rather date, John Wiener or Ryan Arcidiacono?
Ryan Arcidiacono.
Ryan.
Ryan.
There's no competition with Archie.
Okay.
I don't even know the other guy.
Oh,
Who is the other guy?
me.
You? Oh, John! Oh, my God!
Anyone changing their answer now?
We're changing it to you. Go Cats, but I want to date John.
All right.
Teasing. Still Archie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'll beat you both.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Oh, nice
Even though
meeting
I
you
met
too.
you already. What are you doing?
That's it for Jon Time. Come on down to the mail room to get your Villanova signed before you head out to Houston. We'll see you next week.
This is what we got to live every day. Let's make sure we stay true to who we are. The worst thing for us is to not play hard, not play together. The way we play together is with humility and pride. Pride in what we do. That's where you get it, all right? You guys have worked hard. You're ready. Let's go do it together for 40 minutes. Let's go. Let's go.
Thanks again for tuning in to tonight's episode of Save the Nova Nation, and be sure to check us out next week on VU Bench Mob.
As Alexandra mentioned, you know we're always at 24/7 at VUbenchmob.com with great content, analysis, and everything regarding Villanova athletics. You can find us on Twitter and on Facebook. We're still not on Instagram yet. Maybe we'll.
I know we always say that, but it's coming.
It's coming soon. Just stay tuned. Don't worry. We don't have a geotag yet for Snapchat,
No,
right? No,
unfortunately.
we
We're still
don't.
drawing that up.
I know we're still drawing that up. It's still in beta. We're working on it, you know. But anyway, check us out. ViewBenchMob.com. You can always catch us live there.
Thanks again for watching tonight. This is State of the Nova Nation.
Your inside pass to Villanova Athletics. By the nation, for the nation. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
And go Cats.
And go Cats. There we go. Going down, Sooners. Yeah.